and welcome to the class. This is our essential oils on a shoestring budget class. And I am really excited about this actually. There's now a program where you can get essential oils no matter what your budget is. No matter how tight it is, there is now a way for you to get essential oils, and I'm really excited to tell you about that. It does not involve any like sharing oils with anyone. It doesn't involve selling anything. It's just a new program that This Vital Stuff has come out with. So I'm excited to get going in this class. Now let me introduce myself, and for those who don't know me, my name is Sandy Scarfy. I'm with thisvitalstuff.com. And I am like an essential oil lover. 4 years ago, I had never even heard of an essential oil. And then someone introduced them to me. And then in Christmas 2013, I got my first oils as a Christmas gift. And, you know, it didn't take me long at all to like really notice what they were doing for me and for my family. And I just kind of fell in love with them. And I really haven't looked back since then. My collection is growing all the time now of oils. And I'm really enjoying learning more about them and then passing that information along to you guys. Now this class is not the introduction to oils class. It's not the one where we talk about they come from plants and we talk about all the benefits and we talk about how to use them. If you need that information, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is right up here on the wall. Where is it? Up here. My YouTube channel is at This Vital Stuff. And there is a class on there. It's the Introduction to Oils class that I did for the Cancer Survivors Retreat. So you can check that out if you want just the general information about oils. This class is designed for the people who already know the benefits. They already know that the oils are going to save you money in the long run. Maybe you've been wanting to miss fewer work days, or maybe you want to feel better so you can get more done, or see, I'm talking fast already. Or maybe you want to just maybe avoid some potential future medical issues or something. But maybe your finances have been holding you back and you just didn't feel like you had the money to get into oils. And this class is for you. We are going to do 4 things basically in this class. We are going to talk about how a price of an oil is determined. We're going to talk about the best priced oils, and that's both the unit pricing and the out-of-pocket pricing, 2 totally different ways to look at it. Then we're going to talk about tips to stretch your oils and not waste them at all. And then the 4th thing is that new program that I was telling you about. I'm going to tell you all about that new program where anybody can get oils, and I mean like anybody. No matter what your budget is, even if it's like as low as $1 a month, we can still help you to get essential oils. And then after that's all done, I'll tell you about the giveaway for this class, okay? So let's see. I do need to let you know that I am only going to be talking about Young Living essential oils. When I talk about like putting them into water or putting them into food, I'm only talking about the Young Living Vitality oils. And not all oils are made to go inside of your body, and not all oils are pure enough to go inside of your body. Young Living is just the only company that I trust enough to recommend. You know, the more I learn about that seed to seal guarantee that they have, the more I appreciate all those steps that they go through. They make sure that we have the purest oils with nothing in there that's not supposed to be in there. And then we also the highest quality, where every little thing that's supposed to be in that oil is there. So they're the only ones I recommend. And so I'm only referring to Young Living oils. Okay. One other thing before we jump into the price thing is you just need, let me give you a little caution, okay? When a lot of people are looking for a bargain, they automatically think eBay or Amazon. But you need to know that Young Living does not allow its distributors or even its wholesale members to sell any Young Living products on a website like Amazon or eBay. So if someone is doing that, they are probably less than honest. And you just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if they have refilled a Young Living bottle with a diluted oil or an inferior oil and then recapped it with a new lid. It's kind of like, you know, you're already dealing with someone who's cutting corners and breaking the rules of their own company. So you just really don't know how much you can trust them to sell you what they're telling you that they're selling you. especially if the price is too good. If the price is too good, you really want to be aware that you may or may not be getting what you think's in that bottle. Okay, now on to the actual class. First of all, we're going to talk about what determines the price. Now, you see me looking off from time to time. I do have notes. I did not memorize all this stuff, and I want to make sure I get you the right information here. So, first of all, what determines the price? We have 7 things here. Let me shift my chair a little. There we go. First off is which species or which plant is being used. You know, just like everything else in life, some things cost more than other things, and the plant or the species of plant that they use may cost more or less than another one to get the seed or get the seedlings, and also to grow them. So the plant or the species of plant makes a big difference. Number 2, the part of the plant that gets used makes a huge difference in the price. Rose is actually a very expensive oil. Now let me back up. I don't want to talk about that yet. If we're talking about the part of the plant, if we're picking the petals off of a flower to get the oils, we can do that a lot of times in one season sometimes, and let alone a lot of times over the life of that plant. We can just, those petals, you know, many times. But if the oil comes from the roots of a tree, and that tree takes like 30 years to grow, then we're going to get one harvest off of that plant after 30 years. So the part of the plant that we get it from has a big difference in the price. Number 3 is the health of the species. Obviously, if a blight has come through a country and pretty much wiped out a whole species of plant, that's going to affect the price. Think back to the potato famine years ago, and then a few years back there was a blight of lavender in France, which is where most of the world's lavender is grown. So if something like that's happened and the health of the species is poor, that's going to affect your price. Number 4 is the availability of the plant. Now, some of your citrus plants, like, you know, orange trees, lemon trees, lime trees, that stuff grows pretty abundantly. It can grow all over the place. But something like your sacred frankincense only grows in one region of one country in the Middle East. And the country, I think it's Oman. I have to look that up. They guard that resource very carefully, and they have strong limitations on exporting it. So the availability of the plant comes into play a lot there. All right, number 5 is how much plant material is needed, and this is where I want to talk about rose. Rose oil comes from the petals of the plant, but it takes 60,000 rose petals to make one of the 5 milliliter bottles of oil. That's this size right here. It takes 60,000 rose petals to make this size bottle. This is not rose, but if it were, this size bottle would cost $185. So yeah, that's like a really expensive one. Number 6 is how much labor or equipment it takes to harvest the crop and get the oil. You know, does it take a lot to harvest those 60,000 rose petals? Yeah. If the oil we're getting is coming from a tree, is it from the leaves of the tree? Is it something that where they tap the tree and they can get the resin, similar to like a maple tapping would be? Is it something where they have to cut the tree down to get to the roots and then dig up the roots and chop the roots up? So the part of the plant makes a big difference in how much labor and equipment it takes to harvest that plant for that oil. And then number 7 on our things that determine the price is the overhead of the company. Every company is going to have overhead. Something that deals with farms and stuff like this is going to have, they're going to have land, they're going to have buildings, they're going to have to buy machinery and maintain it. Hey, Paula, glad you joined us. And they're going to have employee costs, and they're going to have utility bills. A company like Young Living also does a lot of research, a lot of education, a lot of testing for quality. And so you're going to see all of that. Now, fortunately, a company like Young Living that does multi-level is not going to have a big advertising budget, because they've chosen to give that money to their distributors instead of paying for advertising. So that's a really good thing that you have with Young Living. So you see, none of those 7 things we said says that the price is determined by how effective the oil is. that is not what determines the price. The price is actually what it costs to get the item, to get it distilled, to get it into the hands of everyone. So that's what determines the price, not how good the oil is, but how all those different factors come into play. Okay, the second thing we're talking about tonight is the best value pricing. So we're talking about per unit, and we're talking about out-of-pocket costs. So let's talk about the per unit first, okay? Now with oils, a lot of times one drop is an application. So we're going to be talking about cost per drop, okay? Now, think about the way like Sam's, BJ, Costco, all those places, those big warehouse places, price their stuff. You're going to get some of the best prices there, but it's because you're buying a large quantity. You know, like you want to get paper towels there, you have to buy a package of 30 rolls of paper towels, but it's going to be the cheapest price per roll because you're buying the quantity. That's kind of like the Young Living Premium Starter Kit, you know, the one a lot of people have gotten. It's got those 11 oils and the diffuser and the samples and all those other goodies, and then it gets you that 24% discount because it makes you a wholesale member. That is going to get you the best value of anything on the Young Living website. It is priced at half off. It does cost more because there's so much in it, but it's the best value. So if you can do that premium starter kit, that is the best per unit cost item on the Young Living website. But when we're talking about individual oils, there are actually 27 oils that wholesale at 10 cents a drop or less. So you can get the benefit of an oil for 10 cents a drop or less. So let me see, I have my list here. Let me run through this. Okay, I'll hold it up here so it looks like I'm looking at the camera. So at 10 cents a drop, we have tea tree oil, celery seed, the blend energy, and basil. At 9 cents a drop, we have lavender, peppermint, and RC. Now, RC is a really good one for respiratory. A lot of people like to rub that on their chest. Remember when you were a kid, Mom used to rub stuff on? Yeah. So you can do that with RC. Actually, lavender, peppermint, and RC, those three are 9 cents a drop each. Those are some really well-used oils. They have a lot of uses, those three right there. But let's keep going. For 8 cents, we have Melrose, Citronella, Cypress, Palmarosa, wintergreen, and fennel. Fennel is really good for your stomach. I sent some fennel to somebody a couple weeks back, probably a couple months ago now, for their stomach, and she was just really pleased with the results that she got from fennel. So that's a really good one for digestion in your stomach. Let's see, at 7.5 cents a drop, we have one of the eucalyptus varieties and also the blend Purification. Now, let me mention this about blends. Blends are a really good way to get the benefit of a lot of different oils without having to buy a lot of different oils. This blend, Purification, has 6 different oils in it. That one I mentioned a minute ago, RC for respiratory, is only 9 cents a drop, and it has 10 different oils in it. So you buy one bottle and you get 6 oils or 10 oils or whatever the combination is. Thieves also has a lot of oils in it. So you pay for one, but you get the benefit of a lot. So that's a really good thing if you're trying to get the most for your money, is to buy some blends instead of individual oils. All right, but back to our list. Let's see, 7 cents a drop, we have grapefruit. At 6 cents a drop, we have rosemary, another variation of eucalyptus, pine, tangerine, the blend citrus fresh, and clove. Clove is really good for your cardiovascular system. You know, like that's hearts and stuff, so that's a really good one to have. At 5 cents a drop, we have lime, and we also have the oils that are packaged and designed for pets and farm animals. A lot of those come in at 5 cents a drop. And then we have 4 oils that come in under 5 cents a drop. But again, don't think that the price is determined by how effective they are. These 4 oils combined help our immune system, our skin, our digestive system, our respiratory system. Let me read my list here. Our muscles, our bones, our nervous system, and our mind. That's the cheapest per drop oils on the website. So at 4.5 cents, we have cedarwood, lemongrass, and lemon. And at 4 cents a drop, we have orange. Now, orange is actually the one I'm going to be giving away through the class tonight. This is orange in the Vitality label. Let me flip it around here. It's the white labeled orange, which means that you can put this into foods and drinks. Lemon essential oil is also good for your digestion, your immune system, your skin, and your mind. This has a really fresh smell. And we were chatting today on the website or on Facebook that you get the taste of orange, but you don't get the citric acid with this. So that's really neat. But orange is only 4 cents a drop. That's a phenomenal price for an essential oil. Okay, now the other way to look at value pricing is to look at what can I get for the least amount of money out of my pocket. Now this is usually your smaller quantities. Hey Brenda, glad you're here. Oh, Emily, you too. Awesome. So we're talking about value pricing right now. The other way to look at it, we have the unit pricing, price per drop, but the other way is to look at the out-of-pocket expense. So this would be like buying 1 roll of paper towels at Walmart instead of the 30 rolls at Costco. You're going to pay less. You might pay more per roll, but you can get a roll of paper towels without spending a large amount of money. And we have some oils on the Young Living website that would fall into this category of the lowest out-of-pocket price. Now, compared to the premium starter kit, that premium starter kit that has all that stuff that's got the lowest per unit price, there's also a basic starter kit that is 1/4 of the cost at $45. Now you're going to get, it's going to be a lot smaller. You are going to get an oil, you're going to get samples, you're going to get all those other little goodies that come with it, and you are going to get the membership with that, where you get the 24% off of everything else that you buy, in the future. But it is a lower out-of-pocket cost. It is going to be a higher unit price because you're only getting the 1 oil with all the other samples and goodies and stuff. But it's just 2 different ways to look at it. And if you're trying to get that wholesale discount, you want to look at the 2 options and see which one's better for you. But when we're talking about actual oils, there are, let me get these numbers here. There are 65 oils that sell for $25 or less. There are 46 that sell for $20 or less. If we're looking at $15 or less, there are 33. And there are 10 oils that sell for $10 or less. So let me pull that list out here because I know you're just dying to know what they are, right? All right. So $10 is peppermint. Peppermint is a really versatile oil. $8.75 is fennel. That's the one that we were talking about for digestion in your stomach. Right around $7.50 are a few. There's the Citrus Fresh Blend. There's grapefruit, which, by the way, grapefruit I got because my cousin recommended it. It's just got a really fresh taste. Doesn't have any of the sourness or anything. And you just get that citrusy taste of grapefruit. It's real nice. But also around $7.50 is rosemary and tangerine. Then at $6.25, we have lemongrass, lemon, and orange. And then the cheapest out-of-pocket price on an oil that we have at $5.75 wholesale is lime. Now again, don't let the low price fool you. Lime is good for your digestion. It's good for your immune system. It's good for your respiratory system. It's got a very uplifting, refreshing smell to it. In fact, it's one that a lot of people use, like when they make DIY personal care products. They'll put oils and lotions and stuff like that. Lime is one that a lot of people use for that. Okay, so we talked about the lowest unit pricing. We talked about the lowest out-of-pocket price. Now let's go on to our third thing. We're talking about how to stretch your oils and how to not waste any of your oils. Now, when we're talking about oils, hold on a second. Okay, when we're talking about oils, the oils are made of extremely tiny molecules, like really tiny. If you're in the medical field at all, this fact might blow your mind, but essential oils are small enough that they can pass the blood-brain barrier. They can help our brains because they can get into our brains. That protective shield that God put in place, the oils can go right through that because they're beneficial. But 1 drop of an essential oil has 40 million trillion molecules in it. Now, that is like a huge number. So here it is. If you're a numbers person, here we go. It's 40, and here are the zeros that come after it. It's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and one more 0, 0, 0. That's how many molecules are inside one drop of an essential oil. So when you're talking about oils, yeah, one drop can be the entire application. A little really does go a long way, and less really is more. So how can you use your oils, not waste them, get as much benefit out of them as possible? All right, I've got 10 tips for you. Okay, you ready? You can write them down. You can also go back and catch the replay on this. It'll be, this event will be live for about another 2 weeks. All right, tip number 1. Okay, when you get your oils, use them. Like, duh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, take them out of the box, take them out of the package, open them, and actually use them. What happens, a lot of times somebody will get an oil and they're a little bit unsure about how to use it, and so it sits there forever and doesn't get used. That is like the total waste of your money, the total waste of an oil. So use your oils, okay? You can diffuse or do the aromatic application of any of the oils that are out there. I asked about that, and nobody could come up with any oils that you can't diffuse or do aromatically. So all else fails, take the lid off, smell your bottle, get that aromatic application. If you have a diffuser, you can diffuse it. If you're not sure what benefits your oil can give you, there are a lot of reference books. There are some apps. I have an app on my phone that I love. I have the big fat reference book in the other room. It was like a $50 book. And then this year I discovered there's an app. So I use the app on my phone so much. Or you can ask me about it and I can look it up and I can help you know what the benefits of that oil are and some different ways that you can use that to get the full benefit of it. So number 1, take them out of the package and use them. Number 2 is to keep your lids on tightly. Oils do evaporate, and so that's why we can smell them, because they evaporate a little bit. They call that being volatile. So if you don't put the lid on, it will continue to evaporate, and I learned that the hard way. I went in one time to get a bottle that I knew had quite a bit left, and I hadn't put the lid on really well, and it was empty, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So make sure that you get the lids on tightly. If you have kids that are old enough to use the oils, you want to make sure that they were getting those lids on tightly when they're done too. All right, tip number 3, when you're talking about putting the oil on your skin, you always want to dilute. Now, some oils it says to dilute, some oils say you can apply directly on. I would just recommend diluting everything. All of the oils that I use on my skin on a routine basis, I have made up little roller bottles, and I dilute them down because I'm frugal. I like to stretch it out as much as I can. Diluting an oil does not make it less effective. It does basically 2 things. It makes it so that the oil stays on your skin longer, and so it just takes longer to absorb. And the other thing that it does is it lets you stretch it out over a larger area. Like if you wanted to do your neck and your shoulder, you wouldn't want to take the oil on that entire area. For one, your body's only going to absorb so much, and it's got all those million trillion molecules in every drop, so you're just kind of wasting it. So if you dilute it down with a carrier oil, and we can talk more about that if you have questions, you can take that 1 drop of oil, of essential oil, into the carrier oil, and that carrier oil will spread it out, and you can get the benefit in a large area with just 1 or 2 drops even. Okay, number 4, now this sounds kind of basic, but tip number 4 is just to use less than it says. A lot of times a diffuser recommendation is put 8 to 10 drops in your diffuser. I don't think I have ever put 8 to 10 drops in my diffuser. I will put in 2 drops or 3 or 4, something like that. If you have a blend, like you see these diffuser recipes, I post a lot of them in our group, and it says 2 drops of this and 3 drops of that and 4 drops of that. Well, that's what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 9 drops of an oil. And maybe you don't want to use up 9 drops. So what can you do with that? You can take one of those little tiny spare bottles that comes in the starter kit, or you can take an empty bottle, and you can put your drops inside of one container, and then out of that container you can put a drop or two or three in your diffuser or in your water or whatever the situation is. So there's almost always a way to use less and still get the benefit of it. If you're putting just plain old drops into water, I would always start with 1 drop in your water. Sometimes that's more than enough for the flavor. If peppermint, for example, yeah, that's a really powerfully strong taste. So you might want to start with 1 drop if you're putting peppermint in your water. If you've got a more subtle taste, like for instance, the grapefruit's not a real strong taste, you're going to get the benefit from the drop, but if you're going for taste, then you might want to add a little bit more. But I'd always start with 1 and see how the 1 does for you. All right, tip number 5 talks about diffusing. If you have a diffuser that you're going to use, if it has an intermittent setting, use that to stretch your oils out. I have this little teeny tiny diffuser, and I'll show you this. I brought it home this is from my piano room. You see how small this is compared to my hand? This diffuser will run, it hooks into my laptop. This will run for half an hour if I just set it to run. If I set it on the intermittent option that it has, it will run for 6 hours, and it's even run longer than that in my piano room. So I can get the benefit from that drop of oil that I'm going to put in there for half an hour, or I can get it for 6 or more hours. Every one of my students who comes in gets the benefit of that oil as well. So I'm using 1 drop to really help my body for many more hours. So anytime you have the option to do intermittent, you probably want to do that. You could set it to do a couple hours during the night, an hour when you're waking up in the morning, maybe another hour or 2 later in the day, whatever. Now for that, actually, let me back up a little bit. If you don't have an intermittent option, you might want to buy one of those light timers like you use when you're on vacation to set your lights to go on and off. That you can set to do a couple hours here, an hour there, more hours here, and then you can like spread that diffusing out all day long if you want to. Really good way to just stretch that out. Let's see, tip number 6 is also about diffusing. If you have a diffuser, you want to try to put it in the best place possible. Like a lot of these are just practical stuff, but until you think about it, you haven't thought about it. I like to put my diffuser up high. The one I use in the bedroom, we have a really high headboard that's got like a flat area, and so we put it right up above our heads in the bedroom so that it diffuses. It comes right down on us during the night. It's pretty awesome. So up high is always a good option. You know, the water and the oil goes up and then it spreads out. So the higher up you have it, the more it can spread out in the room. You want to be aware of the airflow in the room. When it goes up, does it go left? Does it go right? Does it head toward an open window? Does it head toward the intake for the air conditioning or the furnace? Does it head down the open staircase? So be aware of where your flow is going and just play around with different places to put your diffuser. All right, tip number 7. This one I have to explain a little bit, but tip 7 is to use an alternative oil. So what do I mean by that? Okay. When I open up my app or my book and I'm looking up a specific thing that I want an oil for, it's going to list anywhere from 5 to 25 oils. And some of those oils are going to be more expensive. Some are going to be less expensive, but that doesn't mean they're less effective. So anytime that you can get one off of that list that's less expensive, you can try that one for sure. Everybody's bodies are different. You know, like what gives you a headache might not bother me at all. So you may find that that less expensive oil is the perfect one for you. So you can always do that. A good example of this is frankincense and lavender are both used for a lot of things, and they're used for a lot of the same things. When you have the option there, you go with the lavender if you're trying to save money, because frankincense is, I don't know, what is it, like 3 or 4 times the price of lavender? Frankincense is one of the more expensive oils. Lavender is a lot more affordable. So yeah, pick the alternative oil, pick the one that's less expensive, try that one first, see how it does with you. All right, tip number 8. Now, this one's going to sound kind of weird, but tip number 8 is just to leave your oils in their bottles. You're like, what? What are you talking about, Sandy? You mean don't use them? No, not at all. We talked about that. Tip number 1 was use your oils, right? But tip number 8 is to not use an entire drop even. If you leave them in the bottle, you take the lid off, you can get an aromatic application just by sniffing the bottle, okay? Take several deep breaths with it right there by your nose, and you've gotten one of the most efficient applications you can get for aromatic. The only part of the oil that you've used is that little tiny bit that evaporated while you had the lid off. So yeah, you can do that, especially if you're the only one that's around. You don't need to diffuse it because, you know, it's just you, and you want to just get that real quick application. I like to do that in the morning. I have a lot of my oils on a shelf, and I will just grab one and smell it and get the benefits from that oil, put it back on the shelf. The next day I pick up the next one. I like to try to get all of them into me because I know they all do so much good. So tip number 8 was to leave them in the bottle. You can get an application without even using an entire drop. I actually have this little tiny bottle. I don't know if you can see this. This little teeny tiny bottle. It's got the oil abundance in it. And a friend sent it to me, and she sent it to me with like this much in it. And I was like, ooh, I don't want to use that up. So this one I do. I take the lid off and I just smell it. It has a really fresh, uplifting smell. I see the name Abundance. I'm reminded of how abundantly the Lord has blessed me in my life. I get that fresh, uplifting smell, and it's just a really beneficial thing. The oils that are mixed up in there are really good ones for your mind, so that's a really good thing to do. All right, let's see. We have 2 more tips. Tip number 9. Let's see, 9. Okay, there we go, 9. If you want a lot of people to benefit from your oils, diffusing it may be the way to go. Or if you have someone who's not feeling well and you want them to feel better, I have to watch how I word that for the FDA. We're allowed to talk about feeling. So if you want someone to feel better, you can diffuse in the room where they are. That might help the other people in your family to stay feeling better. Like, for instance, if you're diffusing thieves in a room where many people are, everybody in the room can get the blessing of those 1 or 2 drops of thieves if you're diffusing. So that's a good way to get many people the benefit of just a little bit of oil, is to diffuse. All right, then tip number 10. This one actually has a couple of tips inside of this tip. But tip number 10 is that your empty bottle is probably not really empty. Rarely is an empty bottle actually empty. If you take a toothpick or a knife or something, you pop that little white diffuser out of the middle, you're going to find probably a drop or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe more, left down in there that just couldn't get to the center of the orifice reducer. Did I say diffuser? The reducer. So yeah, pop that lid off, and you probably got a few drops left in there that you can use. And then even when there are no drops left, if you can still smell that oil, then you can still get the aromatic application from it. I have an empty bottle of lavender right now that still smells like lavender. Lavender is not my favorite scent. I actually tried tasting the lavender the other day. Yeah, it's not my favorite taste either. I'm going to go back to topical and aromatic for that. But lavender is a really relaxing, calming oil. So I like to take that empty bottle, take the lid off. I can still smell it, so there's still some evaporated oil in it, and I'm getting the benefit of lavender from an empty bottle. So that's another thing you can do with those. One more thing with the empty bottles, a lot of people like to soak them in water. And then you can take that water, put it into your diffuser, and get the blessing there. Or you can take that water and put it into some Epsom salts, and then put that into your bath if you want to have like an Epsom salt bath. A lot of people like to do that too. Okay, so that's how to stretch your oils out. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about before we talk about the giveaway is the new program that This Vital Stuff is doing. And this is what I'm excited about, because I've talked to so many people that I know could really benefit from essential oils, but their finances are just tight and they don't think that they can afford essential oils because they're looking at shipping costs and they're looking at the cost of this and that, and it seems like an extra frill right now that they just can't afford. But this new program that This Vital Stuff is doing is going to make it affordable for everybody. I hesitate to say this because I don't want it to come across wrong. But I have been praying about how I can help other people get the benefit of essential oils. And it was shortly after I started praying about that, because so many people that I know that really could use them are just financially tight. Then I got this idea. I'm going to say the Lord gave it to me. That might be a little presumptuous, but I'm convinced in my heart that that's where it came from. But this new program, you can pick whatever oils you want. You can pick anything from that 575 lime to the premium starter kit. It really doesn't matter. Any of the products with Young Living, any of the oils. And you don't need to refer people to the company. You don't need to sell anything. This is not sponsored by the company. This is not sponsored by Young Living, so you are not going to find this on the Young Living website. It's just something that thisvitalstuff.com, which is my blog, my website, is sponsoring this, okay? So there's 3 parts to this program. First of all, you get a reduced price. So whatever oils you want, if you're a wholesale member, meaning you've already gotten a Young Living starter kit at some point and you are a wholesale member, you can use your 24% discount with this program. If you're not a wholesale member and you're just a retail customer, you are going to get a 10% discount on your oils and stuff. The second aspect is that it's going to be drastically reduced shipping. Now, if you're local to me in Northern Virginia and you want to pick up your stuff, you can actually get free shipping. All you do is pay for the item and the tax. If you're not local to me, then I'm going to give you just a flat rate of $3. It's going to cover your tax and your shipping, okay? So instead of paying, a big shipping price, paying all the tax, everything, you're just going to pay $3 flat rate, and then I will ship the items to you when I get them. And then the third aspect is that you get to choose how much you want to spend. You get to choose how often you want to spend it. This is something that I'm not going to set any of the parameters on this. I want this to be totally set by each of you for what you want. This is going to work with your budget and the way that you want to set it up. Now, even if you have to skip one payment or whatever, that's just fine. But this is going to be something that works for you, okay? Now, let me say this. If you have in your budget enough to do $50 a month or more, you should be using the company's rewards program, not this program that I'm going to tell you about. Because if you can do the 50 or more a month, you can get on the company's essential rewards program. You can get free products just for being on the program for 3 months, 6 months, and stuff like that. You also get free products depending on the size of your order. You get product credit back every month, and that can be as high as 24%. And so if you can do the 50 a month, you want to get on that essential rewards. I can help you with that, whether you're part of my organization or not. I can help you get on essential rewards. But for this one, this is designed for people who can't spend $50 a month on essential oils, okay? And the other part of this is that you get to choose the items. This is not like a subscription box where every month the predetermined thing from the company comes to you. It's not like that at all. This is stuff you're going to get to pick, your wish list, and you're going to get to go through it. So what is this plan? Okay, I am calling this the This Vital Stuff VIP layaway plan. You guys are really important people to me. You're my very important people, and I want to take care of those of you who especially haven't been able to afford oils up until this point. So that you can afford it, you get the best price, you get the best shipping, you get it on your terms as far as how much and how often to spend, and you get to pick the items. So what I'm going to do is do a combined monthly order, and the items will come to me. I'll pay the shipping on that one. I'll pay the shipping and the tax, and then I'm going to turn around and use your $3 to reship it to you. Okay, so it's something that I've kind of been waiting to launch because I was holding it off for you guys because I want you guys to be the first ones to be able to do it, okay? So what's the next step? The next step is I have put together a page on my website that tells you all about this. It has all the frequently asked questions. It has more of the details on it. And I would like for you to go to that website and review all those questions and write down any other questions that you have about it. And then I'm going to check back with you to answer any of those questions that you have. And then if you're excited and you want to get in on this, then I can help you enroll in that. If you're not, that's not a problem. You guys know me. I am like the no pressure person, but I just want to make it available to you. So what is the website to go to? All right, here it is. I wrote it forwards and backwards because Facebook flips sometimes. It's thisvitalstuff.com/layaway. And that's a /. It's not a backslash. I did that right? .com. So thisvitalstuff.com/layaway. Okay? And that should answer a lot of your questions. But like I said, write down any other questions you have so that when I check back with you, I can answer those questions. And then you can let me know if you want to jump in on this and get started. Now, let me tell you this. If you are wanting to get a premium starter kit and you're just like ready to buy it, I should let you know that thisvitalstuff.com is offering a $25 rebate during October for any of the premium starter kit, like if you're going to become a wholesale member. But if you're using this program, it's because you don't have that big chunk of money right now. So I'm going to make a special deal for you guys, okay? If you start saving towards your premium starter kit using this program and you start that in October, then I will still do that $3 shipping and tax even on that premium starter kit, okay? That's a good savings right there because that's going to come shipped directly to your house. So if you want to get that premium starter kit, you want to get that free or the $3 shipping and tax on it, you can see that's a bargain because just figure out what your tax would be on that. Then let me know that you want to start that in October, and when the time comes you've got enough, I will do that for you guys, okay? All right, so that's all about that. So that's a new program that I'm launching today that I've been just like dying to do. So anyway, that is real excited. So, all right, let me get to the giveaway now. I promised you the giveaway. And I am going to give away this bottle of orange. It is the Vitality that can go in drink and water, and water is drinks and food. And you can also do a lot of other stuff with this. So to get in the giveaway, all you have to do is send me a message, a Facebook message, and tell me what's on your wish list. Is it the premium starter kit? Is it peppermint? Is it a really long list of oils? Just tell me like what the next couple things you want to get with essential oils is. That's all you got to do. Now, if you do that by Sunday night, midnight, you get into our drawing for the orange. If you do that today, before midnight or before I wake up in the morning and check, then you will get 2 entries into our drawing. So you get like a double chance of winning that, okay? So I hope this class has really helped you guys to see that essential oils can be affordable. They don't have to be these super expensive oils. There are a lot of more economically priced ones out there. There are ways to do it that are less expensive than other ways. And I hope this has really helped you to see how realistic it is, no matter how tight your budget. Because now you've got this layaway program that's going to get you a reduced price, reduced shipping, and on your terms. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming to the class. This is the first time I've done this kind of a class, and I was really excited, and I'm glad that so many of you could actually make it live. I know it's not always easy to do live. I am going to stick around for a few minutes, go back and check and see if there were any questions or anything. So if you have questions, you can pop them into the comments, or if you prefer, you can send me a message. You know, I can check it that way if you don't want to make it a public thing. So with that, I am going to sign off. Again, this is Sandy Scarfy, for those who don't already know me, from thisvitalstuff.com, and I will be talking to you guys later. Have a good night.